As we wait to hear from Senator Al Franken, two Minnesota lawmakers facing sexual misconduct allegation announced their plans to resign last week. Democratic Senator Dan Schoen says he is stepping aside so important work can be done without distraction. Schoen said in a statement, quote, "It was never ever my intention to make an inappropriate advance on anyone." Republican Representative Tony Cornish says he will step down by December 1st, releasing a statement saying, in part, "I am forced to face the reality that I've made some at the Capitol feel uncomfortable and disrespected. Both men have been accused of inappropriate behavior by women who've worked with them at the Capitol." And to break it all down for us, we have political analyst Larry Jacobs here in studio. Thank you so much for coming in.
Glad to be here.
All right, so let's start. We had Representative Erin May Quaid on the show last week saying, quote, "We need a culture change." Is that correct, and how can that happen?
For sure. I mean, I hear all the time from representatives, I would say particularly women, that there's a kind of a hostile environment, that women, not all the time, but with some regularity, are feeling uncomfortable and harassed. Now, these are accusations, but clearly there needs to be a culture change.
Now, a lobbyist says Cornish sexually harassed her for several years. So how does this behavior stop, and how do we start having conversations about this on a daily basis?
Well, I think the biggest thing is accountability, and this is accountability. We've got two members of the state legislature who are gone, and the message is out now. If you engage in sexual harassment, it's career ending. And I think that is the strongest place to start. The second is, as the Speaker Dowd has said, we're now going to be putting time and resources into training. And I think that's another step, but it needs to be followed up. It's not enough just to have this kind of...
It's one thing to say it, it's another thing to actually do it. And how do you implement that?
Well, I think it's accountability, it's training, it's creating an environment in which women feel safe to come forward with information that they've been mistreated.
All right, so let's move on to Senator Al Franken and the sexual misconduct allegations against him. So what do you want to hear from him today when Esme Murphy sits down with him? What are you hoping to see?
Well, I think the number one thing is this the end of it? Are there going to be more accusations, or have we seen the thrust of it? Secondly, how is he going to change moving forward? Clearly, appears to be some kind of pattern, at least in the past. How is that going to change? And third, what is he going to do to restore the trust of Minnesotans? He says that's going to be a priority. How does he actually do that when you've got his approval rating dropping from, mid-50s down to mid-30s?
Now, I was wondering, can he recover from something like this? Will he be able to be an effective leader after this? Well,
I think that's the great question. And today, Al Franken was riding high. He was on presidential candidate lists. He was a driver of the progressive agenda in the Senate. He was famous for his interrogation of Republicans. He was the leader on net neutrality, and all of that was vaporized as soon as these allegations came out and as soon as he's come forward and his name is now in the press and with the Ethics Committee. Whether he can bounce back is a big question, but I think, starting today, he needs to come clean and he needs to explain to Minnesotans how his behavior is going to change and how he's going to be held to account.
And do you think he should resign?
I think what Betty McCollum said is the right process. There is a fairly vigorous ethics committee in the Senate. Senator Franken has said, "I'm handing this over to the Ethics Committee and I want them to investigate me." That's pretty significant. If you look at the polling, there's about 58% who say they want Al Franken to stay in office or they want to wait for the results of that ethics investigation. So I think, that seems like a reasonable approach. Let's get the facts and then make a decision.
All right, well, we will wait to see what happens with all of this. Larry Jacobs, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you coming in, especially when Esme isn't here. All right, if you are interested in watching, please, we want to remind everyone again, Esme Murphy is right now sitting down with Senator Al Franken for his first TV interview since multiple allegations of groping women have surfaced against him. So don't miss this exclusive television interview tonight on our late news.